go out. I'm gonna eat the dinner. To my next point, I have no notes. I'm just spitting off the dome. I got so many no's, like mad rejections, mad thank you for applying. But baby, rejection is God's protection. Hey y'all, my name is Chantel. Welcome back to my channel. Okay, I haven't been here in a while, but as y'all can tell by the title, a lot has been going on. I just graduated last week from Howard University, and I don't feel like, you know how people do their little paragraphs under their grad pictures? Like, I feel like I can't get it all in a paragraph. Therefore, here you are. For me, I feel like people describe Howard in extreme ways. Like, either people are like, this is the worst thing ever, like, don't come here, this is my worst experience, or people are like, oh, this is the best HBCU, this is the best school ever. Like, it's either two extremes, but I feel like people aren't real about their experience here. So I'm here to tell you about my experience. Other people have different experiences, and I know some people, you know, have their bouts about Howard, and I do too. But for me, I think this is like one of the most life-changing experiences for me. And I don't even think it's Howard as an institution, but like going to a HBCU and going to a college away from home. Yeah. And not only that, I think when you post like graduation pictures and like all these accomplishments, like, people don't know this has to be the hardest 4 years of my life. Like, I said it before, I've been to more funerals than graduations. We went through a pandemic. Like, so many things were happening at home. Howard didn't give me like hardly any money. Howard, like, okay, I'll start by saying like how I got to Howard and like why I'm here, and then I'll talk about my 4 years. So I was applying to schools in high school, but I did not want to go to HBCU. I'm from Atlanta, and you know, everybody was telling me you need to apply to Spelman, you need to apply to Clark, and I was like, I don't want to stay in state. Like, I just don't want to do the HBCU thing. Like, I grew up, my mom went to HBCU. Like, I grew up hearing about HBCUs. My church was saying you need to apply to HBCUs, and I was like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And then something was tugging at my heart in like October, and I was just like annoyed with everybody saying like apply. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to apply to one HBCU. And I was like, I'm not going to Spelman, so I'm just going to apply to number 2, and it was Howard. And I was like, you know what, whatever, I don't even care. Like, I wanted to go to, you know, Wake Forest, UNC, Duke, all these schools, right? So it comes like December, and I get into Howard, and I was like, oh, that's nice. And like the months go on. I'm getting rejected from schools. I'm getting waitlisted. I got waitlisted at Wake Forest. Like, it was not getting hot for me. So like April comes around, and I'm like, dang, I only got into Mercer and Howard, and I don't want to go to Macon, Georgia, and I want to go out of state, so I'm going to Howard. And you know, I was scared. I only had a couple thousand that they gave me. I was like, dang, how am I going to do this? But let me tell y'all, when I say every semester I was applying to scholarships, I'm talking about like day after day, week after week, and I got so many no's, like mad rejections, mad thank you for applying. But like I would say towards the end of sophomore year, junior year, I was getting scholarships like this, like, and I really think it was because of my grades in college that I was able to get the scholarships. So I was applying to TMCF, I was applying to UNCF, and I got so many scholarships that I'm coming out of Howard debt free. And I was like, oh, like, I didn't know that when I applied. That's how God works. I didn't know that I was going to get these scholarships, but the way I was working hard and grinding and staying up all night applying, I did it. And then even like when I was at home, I was like doing, not only applying for scholarships, but I was working at like JCPenney's like every single day, like no days off. taking overtime, just trying to like pay my way through school. And of course my parents helped me and all that, but there's only so much, you know, you can do. So I was like, okay, thank God I got through the financial part of Howard. And then like, I say like, when you have these difficult times, I think you can have them anywhere. I don't like the idea of, oh, Howard doesn't have financial aid. Oh, Howard doesn't have housing. That's just a college thing. And I don't even want to say HBCU thing, because that's a college thing. Like, this whole thing with housing and the problems with housing, baby. My freshman year, I had 2 roommates. Loved them to death. 2 roommates, 1 bathroom. I was in a bunk bed because they had quad closed, which is the other freshman girls' housing. And water was out for a couple days at one point. Fire alarms going off. All the works. Junior year, off campus, not because we want to, because everybody was virtual for the pandemic. We had to go through a whole year of virtual classes from home, and that was a struggle in itself, because it's like you go from having all this fun freshman year, then shift it to online rules. You know, freshman year you come in, you can do whatever you want. There's no curfew. You can do whatever. And then you shift to online. It's like, oh, I can't. What you mean I can't leave? Like, I've been leaving this whole time. So senior year, I was off campus because there's no housing for seniors. And housing for me was like, I'll say I got the good and the stick versus some other people, but it was still, it was a struggle. Like, I'm living 30 minutes off campus. I gotta take the shuttle to school every day. Like, it's not giving. It's not giving. But overall, like, even with all those struggles, I'm not gonna sit here and say like, oh yeah, like, I hated this school, like, I hate it so much, like, I'm ready to go. Hold on. Let me put it this way. I'm ready to go. But I think people don't talk about the good times enough. Like, freshman year, we had freshman week, we had the all-white party, we had the Rep Your City party, we were out in the valley, we were having fun. We had homecoming, we had Lil Baby, we had Dub Baby, we had Kanye West, we had Megan Thee Stallion, we had Steph Curry, we had the Us premiere, we had Beyonce premiere. Like, all these opportunities that I didn't even know, like, when I was applying in high school. Like, I didn't look up Howard when I got here. I wasn't looking at YouTube videos and, like, watching about homecoming. I didn't even know homecoming was that big of a deal. I was just like, you know, whatever, I'm going to go to homecoming. And, like, just the events on campus is just, like, something that really stuck with me. And not only that, it's not even just, like, events, but it's just, like, walking on the yard and you see a new hairstyle and you're like, yeah, I'm doing that next. Or, like, seeing everybody dress. Springtime at Howard, when they be dressing. And, like, all that combined with everybody wanting to be great as far as, like, scholar-wise and academic-wise, it just pushes you in general to be great. Like, I don't think I would dress the way I dress if I was at home. And I don't think I would, like, present myself with a Howard intro with my major, the way I do if I went to a PWI or another school. And I think that's so important. Like, HBCUs really instill greatness in you, because yes, being from Atlanta, I'm always around Black people, but if I'm being honest, I've never been as empowered and as motivated to be the best person I could be. Which brings me to my next point. I have no notes. I'm just spitting off the dome. But, like, okay. And I had the biggest problem I had was, like, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. So I'm a health science major. And at first I was like, okay, I want to be an athletic trainer. Then I was like, because I did athletic training in high school. Then I was like, you know what? Like, let me be, like, a healthcare administrator. I was like, you know, I could be, like, the chief of the hospital, like, running things. And I was like, maybe I should be into medical side. And I was like, medical school's too long, so I'll be a physician assistant. And I was like, I hate chemistry. hate chemistry. Like, I took chemistry 1 and 2 in college, and I was just like, I liked chemistry in high school. Once I got here, I was like, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. So, like, I figured that out when we, like, got sent home for the pandemic. So, I'm sitting at home, and I'm like, I really don't know what to do because I don't like what I'm learning anymore. And I was like, I just do not feel passionate about this. Like, I dreaded going to chemistry class. Like, I did not like it. And I didn't like biology. But I liked my genetics class because not only was it genetics, but my professor made a point to highlight like the social justice aspect of genetics, which I thought was so cool because I was like, yeah, like a lot of Black people are disproportionately affected in the health industry. Then we're learning about that. All of a sudden, boom, we're hit by boom, we're hit by a pandemic. And I was like, yeah, this is getting bad. Like, this is getting real bad. And so I was just sitting at home. I'm hearing about like how people are like quite literally dying. Family members of mine are quite literally dying because they don't have insurance. And I'm like, bruh, like, I can't just sit back. I can't sit back and watch it happen. So I'm like, Google, I'm like, maybe I should go into public health. Like, public health, da-da-da. I was like, mad science and that. Mad science. And, like, this sounds weird because I genuinely do love science. But I was like, let me look into this, like, law stuff. And so I started, like, Googling, researching, da-da-da. And I'm like, oh, there's this thing called, like, health law where, like, they're fighting against health care disparities. Like, this is something I want to do. And then I was like, I can't go to law school. Like, law school? No, I can't do that. Maybe I started talking around, and my friend's dad was a healthcare attorney. My other friend was telling me you can major in anything and go to law school. I was talking to some judges. I was talking to attorneys. And nobody in my family went to law school, so I was just like, nah, I'll do something else. But then I started thinking, and I was like, this was like first semester of junior year at this point. I was like, I'm not changing my major because I'm ready to graduate. But I was like, I don't know, maybe I should really try this law thing. So I had this pre-technical writing class at Howard, and it's like pre-law. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to take this class, and if I like it, then this will be my sign to go to law school. And if I don't, then I'll just become a physician assistant. I'll figure it out. So I'm taking the class, and everybody's saying, like, this professor's going to be hard, like, you're going to hate this class, whatever. I'm taking it, and I'm like, first day, I'm like, I don't know if I can do it. They're talking about we're writing, like, case briefs every week, and we'll be doing, like, at least case studies. And I was like, I don't know about this. First day, we start doing this case study about, like, a burglary. And, like, we're, like, breaking it down, and we're, like, discussing all the different aspects. It's like a puzzle. And I'm like, nah, this is fun. Like, I genuinely like this. And, like, we keep going through the semester, and we're doing different cases. And, like, my classmates are thinking of different ways to handle these different cases, and, like, what different conclusions you can come to. And my professor's like, okay, y'all thought of 2 conclusions, but there's, like, 5 different conclusions. And I'm like, in chemistry, you get 1 answer in 1 shot. With this, like, there's so many different answers. And I'm like, I think this law thing is for me. So then, boom, it's officially the end of junior year, and we finally get the word that we're going back to campus. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is about to be fun. Because, you know, we left campus sophomore year, and we're, you know, I haven't seen my friends in over a year. And I'm like, I'm super sad. I'm super depressed. I don't have many friends back at home. Like, I'm genuinely, like, yearning for the social environment of Howard, because that's really what makes Howard. I get back, and I'm like, okay, 1, I gotta study for this LSAT. I gotta apply to law schools, and then also I need to enjoy my senior year. And I realized that the whole point of going to college, and I don't think I realized that freshman and sophomore year, is to not be in your room. And like when I say that, that doesn't mean like, you know, you going to a club every night, you going to a party every night. But like I realized I missed out on so much my freshman year. The biggest things that really hurt me that I missed out on was seeing Chadwick Boseman. So he came for a movie premiere, and I was just like, Chadwick Boseman, like, this is alma mater. He's going to be here, you know, all the time. And he passes the next year, and I'm like, I'm really missing out on the key moments. I'm not just like college, but life. Like, I was so busy studying for chemistry and studying for biology, and that's all well and fine. Please study. But like, I was not having fun. So my senior year, I made it a point. I was like, you know what? Every opportunity I have to go out and do something, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get my work done, but I'm going to do it. So I knew I had the LSAT. I knew I had law school. And I knew I wanted to make the most of my senior year. So I'm studying for the LSAT, whatever, going throughout the year. And, you know, I'm sitting with my friend. And, you know, we had already been to a couple events, couple parties, whatever. But I really didn't step out on faith until I was like, okay, I'm going to run for Miss College of Nursing and Allied Health Sciences. So at Howard, we have a royal court where you can, like, try out for pageants and you have a campaign. Let me tell you, I knew freshman year, I was like, oh my gosh, this looks like so much fun. Like, I really like spoken word. I like speaking out. I like, you know, talking to people. I was like, I'm not a pageant girl. Like, I just don't look the part. I don't act the part. I don't think I can be one of those girls. So me and my friend were in a cafeteria, and she's like, Chantel, you should run for Miss CNOS. Mind you, it was already on my mind, and I was like, I don't know, like, I don't think I can do it. So we're talking, and they're like, okay, the application is due tonight. And if you want to do it, you can, because it's due tonight. And I was like, I'm just going to do it. I already told myself I was going to do it. So I applied. I went through all the pageant practices. I did the pageant. And, like, that's one of the things where I was like, I didn't win. But here's my thing. Here's my thing. That was one of the things where I was like, I was holding myself back. And it's one of those experiences that I would have never had again. And I had so much fun doing it. I had so much fun campaigning. I had so much fun, like, really putting myself out there. And even though I didn't win, it laid the opportunity. So many opportunities came from that I didn't even know. Baby, rejection is God's protection. Because there are so many opportunities that I got from that I would have never done if I didn't step out. So that was my first chance stepping out. Mind you, I'm still studying for LSAT, still, you know, getting it together. I became chapel assistant president, which, if you don't know about chapel assistants, is an organization on campus where anybody can join, and we assist the chapel and have meetings every Friday. So this was probably like one of my biggest time consumers. I love it to death, but it was big time consumers. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to, like, keep doing the same stuff. And I was like, you know what? I'm stepping out this year. This is my final year. I'm going to do everything that I want. We went on field trips. We were collabing with like 14 different orgs. We're having meetings every single Friday. We're having events. Like, we're doing pie, a chapel assistant. We're, you know, having like weeks and stuff. And I'm like, oh, this is getting fun. Mind you, I wouldn't have done all that if I'm staying in my room. I'm not joining organizations. Like, I didn't know I was going to be chapel assistant president. Freshman year, I just went to chapel one Sunday, and I was like, okay, whatever. And my friend was like, hey, do you want to come to a CA meeting? And I was like, I guess. And they had pizza, so I was like, I'm going to keep going, like, whatever. And from that, so many opportunities. I got a full tuition scholarship for a semester from the chapel. I was able to go on like so many trips. They took us to see Alvin Ailey. They took us to see Aladdin, like all these different things. Like, so much of my Howard experience was in the chapel, and so many of my friends are from the chapel. And to be in a community that supports you and uplifts you and gives you opportunities, major. So we did the pageant, we did chapel systems. Then I was like, okay, I'm still taking the LSAT. Took the LSAT in November. And I was like, okay, I'm done with the LSAT. What else am I going to do before I end my Howard experience? I'm like, okay, alternative spring break. I was supposed to go sophomore year, completely canceled because of COVID. I was supposed to go to Chicago. Then my junior year, while we're still online, I was site coordinator for Atlanta. It was cool. I was able to work with schools in my area from my hometown. It was like really uplifting. I was like, you know, we are giving back to the community in a virtual space, you know, just doing like PowerPoints about college, etc. So I was like, I'll be a site coordinator for alternative spring break my senior year. You know, some people are like, no, I want to go to Miami. I want to do whatever, you know, spring break. And I don't blame you. I truly don't blame you. But I was like, you know what? This is my last year. This is my last opportunity to do something like this. Mind you, alternative spring break is a service learning trip where you get to serve in different communities around the country and internationally for free. So they pay for your housing, they pay for food, all that. So I was a site coordinator, a co-site coordinator for Philadelphia. And when I tell you, that was one of the most difficult things I've ever done. So we have to like coordinate the whole thing. So I was in charge of like the food and housing, which means I have to get like mostly donations. And I was in Philadelphia. I've never been to Philadelphia a day in my life. I'm calling people saying like, hey, can y'all donate 30 meals to our trip? Got a lot of hang-ups. Got a lot of no thank yous. But so many people reached out and were so helpful that the whole trip was like, it's such a beautiful thing. Such a beautiful thing. The planning of it was difficult. It was very hard. It was strenuous, long nights, very long nights. But I was still stepping out on faith because I didn't know coming in my freshman year that I even wanted to do alternative spring break. Freshman year, I was at home for spring break. I didn't want to serve. No. So like Howard also brings out the truth and service in you if you let it. You can easily not do any of this stuff when you come to Howard, or if you went to Howard, you can easily not do any of this. You can just stay at home and go to class. But I did alternative spring break, and it's one of those things that like I get emotional about, and I like it really was close to my heart because we were going into Philadelphia public schools, middle schools and high schools, and talking to these kids about colleges. But then we realized like yes, they care about college, but what they really needed was like a big sister. They just needed somebody to like listen to them. Like just we were only there for a week, but like the interactions I made with these kids, it was so significant. Like they're just asking like normal questions like, what do y'all even eat in college? And I told them, man, I was eating oatmeal with water. Like, okay, I could have bought milk, yes, but like milk is expensive. I'm not about to buy milk. Sometimes when you go to Howard, you get disconnected from where you're from. So like going on this alternative spring break trip reminded me like there is a purpose for me to go to law school. There is a purpose for me to go and help somebody other than myself. Like it put into perspective that like I am truly blessed to be here. Like I did not have to be here. God aligned my path to be here. And like talking to these kids is like I was dead in your position in middle school. Like I was in a school that didn't care about me. I was dealing with teachers that really didn't care how I ended up. And just to let them know like, hey, like I care. Like, hey, I'm in your position. It's something that I will never forget. And I truly I'm so glad I took that step and was like, hey, yeah, I'm going to be a site coordinator. Like, I'm going to do this. So I did pageant, chapel assistant, president, and site coordinator. So my last thing I think overall I did, anytime my friends said they wanted to go out, I was going out. So Springfest, I was there. I was there for every concert, and I was there for every fashion show. I was at the fashion show for homecoming. I I was there. I was at the football game. I was at the basketball game. I was making sure that this year that I spent in the pandemic, depressed and in the bed and not doing anything, I was like, senior year, I can go out. Senior year, I can go to brunch with my friends. Senior year, I can have a kickback with my friends. We can go to karaoke. We did like so many different things that I think the pandemic and like the way it stopped everybody's life really put a new perspective on my quality of life. So like I wasn't the type to, go out to parties. I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna stay in a corner. I don't care about this, da da da. But then I realized like life is too short. College is too short. I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna eat the dinner. And I'm a broke now. Yes, I'm broke. But I had a great time this year. Genuinely an amazing time. And I think like sometimes people are like, oh, I hate it here. I hate Howard. I hate it so much. But like, did you go out today? Did you go to the yard? Like, and they're like, oh, like all these other HBCUs, they be dancing, they have fun. Dance, baby. You dance. Now what? Like, you have fun. Now what? Nobody's telling you not to have fun. And I think also a lot of people are scared because it's like, coming into it, you don't have any friends. My freshman year, I had a totally different friend group than I have now. The friend group I have now is some people I've accumulated over the years. Yes, I have a few friends that I still have from freshman year. But really, 18-year-old you is going to be different from 22-year-old you. I think it's important to note that you don't have to be an extrovert or anything like that. I am an extrovert, so maybe I should shut up. But like, I feel like once you join orgs and like you actually get out the house, the key word is getting out the house. Like the key phrase is getting out the house. You can say all this like you hate it here, da da da, and I do understand the clique thing here at Howard because it is pretty cliquey. But there's certain organizations here like Chapel Assistance, Alternative Spring Break. I can only speak to what I've joined, but like that, you can truly find, like you'll find at least one person that you're cool with. So I think that really changes your experience. The people really make the difference because Howard is hard. Howard is really hard. Like we had bomb threats this year. We had protests. We had mold in dorms. Like, it was hard. Like, it's hard to be here sometimes. But, like, when you have people that are with you and, like, the simple talks on the shuttle or the simple, like, wave and hug on the yard, like, I really can't, I don't see myself doing that anywhere else. Like, I'm really gonna miss going on the yard and seeing people like with a speaker jumping rope and like just having fun. I think things like that really makes a difference. Overall, like I said in the beginning, I didn't choose Howard. I did not want to come here. But I thank God that I was here. It really changed my life. It changed how I view the world. It changed how I view Blackness. It changed how I view myself. And it's just such a beautiful thing that over all this, and I was able not only to accomplish so much, but learn so much. I learned more from my rejections and my no's, because I had a lot. Whether it was like financial aid, housing, organizations, classes, school. I've had so many obstacles and struggles that I don't even really talk to people about. But overall, I wouldn't change it for the world, because with every obstacle, I came out 10 times harder. And I know, going through it, like sophomore year, junior year, you're like, dang, where's the finish line? Like, where am I going to be? It's just, you just have to do it. Like, you just kind of have to, like, push through it. Take a break. I think that's another thing I learned. Like, take a break, take a deep breath. And you'll look back on your 4 years and be like, okay, like, every friendship that was broken, every relationship that was broken, every man that was mean, every woman that was stupid. Like, it all meant something. And it all meant something to me, at least. And I just couldn't fit that all in a paragraph in my Instagram bio. And I just wanted to really tell my story about Howard. Because it was a significant part of my life. And if anybody has any questions, comments, if you feel the same way or had similar experiences, please let me know. I didn't even really talk about every single experience, but I really, really, really am grateful and blessed to have this experience. And yeah, that's all I have. And I'll see y'all next time.